Well, welcome back, everybody. I'd like to bring you up to speed on part 2 of the 100-year-old School Desk Reclamation. Okay, so yeah, we might have used some clamps. So let's take a look at what we got here. All right, so not too bad. All right, so this particular board wasn't the straightest in the world, and we're gonna have to deal with this. But I'm sure those of you that have been paying attention would have said, "It's really nice, Garland, but all you've done is transferred the weakness of here, which was broken before, to a weak point right here." And to that I say, good catch, because while this is half as strong, it's not strong enough to be able to support this leg. In fact, this particular joint is the weakest joint. So we're gonna have to figure a way to come in here and secure that in a way that makes sense. So I'm going to share with you our next step and what I've decided to do. And unfortunately, I have two choices. I have utilitarian that I need to think about and a level of aesthetics. So I'm going to choose some aesthetics here and show you what's going on. Okay, so we talked a little bit about aesthetics versus physics and strength. And we know that this joint is never going to hold up on its own, right? So we got to come up with some kind of a support. So as I took a look at this, I'm thinking, it's kind of old. What can we do to kind of spice it up and show? So I came up with this idea, and it has to do with this guy right here. Okay, so I need to be able to gauge exactly how deep I'm going to go on both sides of that. So if I use this and cut a circle, right? And I can do how deep I go with a piece of tape. So I can measure exactly how good I go on a piece of tape. I can say, wow, I can go in, hog that out with my router, put a patch or a dutchman as they call it, and I can put that in here. So what did I come up with? Well, here is a piece of wood that has been cut out of this device right here. So I came up with this design, and I think I'm gonna go with that one. That is, put one of those there, put one of those there. That's my family upstairs. Put one of that there. And if I place it here, exactly in, I will have enough stability with the patch or a dutchman. And I'm going to use a piece of this wood that would normally have been wasted because of this crack. So I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put one here. And I can put a dowel rod in between the two. And I think that's going to be a good looking piece. Of course, I'm going to have to go ahead and run a planer and level that out. Cut this back and take a look at it. But how about if I bring it back in when that's all said and done? How about that? Okay, so I've run the planer across here and that is dead even across. Looks good. I hit it with the planer and then I just hit it with a little bit of sandpaper just to make sure it's level. Normally what I would do is I would fill that, but because we're going to put that patch on there, I'm not in a big rush to go ahead and fill that quite yet, or here, or that. I'll fill that probably last. So now we have to go ahead and trim this back and go ahead and take a look at that, and we'll share it with you and get back. But that's looking good. That's dead even. Okay, get you a little quick heads up on where we're at. So as you can see here, I took and I whittled this away and I carved it down and it looks good. I decided to go ahead and put the patch in there. It's not a big deal. But what I did do is I took a piece of scrap and I took my drill here and I cut that out. And then what I'm going to use this as my starter. So what I'll do is I'll put that in, get it started, so it cuts a nice even groove. I'll take that off, which I've already done one. This one over here is done. I'll take it off, and I will ensure that I only go down to that level across the entire piece. And that's all the further down I think that I'll cut. We'll see how far down I go into the wood. Okay, so a little bit of time has gone by here, so I took my scrap, made my cuts, And I'm worried about tear out. Just to let you know, I've been worried a little bit about tear out. So I took a blade, trimmed around the edges here, and also here. And that way when I run the router, which I'm gonna hog this out with the router and a guide, so I can go down deeper. But I'm not gonna make the router do all the work. I'm gonna use, and I set the depth of my Forstner bit, and I'm gonna take my drill and I'm gonna drill most of this wood out before I hit it with the router. That way it doesn't make my little trim router work so hard. And I'm using this, I don't have a drill press. The drill press would be ideal at the moment, although this desk is really quite cumbersome. It's hard to, you have this brace, so it's hard to get close, and I'm propping it up to stay even. What I've done here is you'll see that I've marked this tape on my depth and how far I wanna go. And I've measured this to go down only, you can see, as far as the depth is, and it'll stop. So that'll help me from drilling too far and making it uneven. And it'll make it a little bit easier for me to clean up anything with the trim router that I need to do while I'm hogging that out. Okay, so we have that hogged out to the depth around where we need. Of course, I'm gonna do the fine trimming here with a chisel here in just a second. Kind of clean that up, and then I'm going to hit it with the trim router just to see if I can't get this completely level, the exact same depth. Okay, so we have leveled that baby off. Doesn't look great because of the holes, but I can assure you we leveled it off. I ran into a bit of an issue right there. I don't know if you can see that. But while I was using my trim router, I bumped into a nail protruding its way through here, so I had to stop, and this whole section here, I did it by hand. But using our template that we have here, I have a pretty good idea. Here it's a little bit thick, which is going to, I did that on purpose. I'm gonna have to bring that in and file as we go. But all that material is hogged out, and we are now ready to use our patch, or dutchman to fill in here. Yes. Yes. Yes, this, I got a little help today into the shop. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the project. So, just hold on one second, son. That's Matthew, that's my youngest. So we have the patch. It's in, it's ready to go. It fits in there. I just need to go ahead and put glue on the other side. Tap it down tight. As you can see, we got plenty of clamps. When we're done, you can see the movie. We'll tap her down. So we finished up the glue up here, and we got the patch in. If you take a look here, you have some little areas. I use those for marking to help myself when I wanted to sand out to make sure that the patch worked. I'm gonna have to do a quick fill in here. That's not a big deal. And after much consideration, originally I thought what I would want to do is put a second patch on the backside. But by the time I took a look at how much patch I would have to replace, and I would actually create weakness, not actually add to it. And I also made a decision, which is an aesthetic one. I turned the wood slightly off-center, didn't follow the grain, particularly not because I wanted to match the grain. You'll see I could have matched the grain. I could have matched this grain and this grain, but because I wanted to accentuate that patch. Okay, that's it. We're going to let this glue up, and we'll do this tomorrow. We'll end part 2. See you then.